Good morning. We'll call to order for the Code Enforcement Special Magistrate meeting of December 3rd, 2025. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The next item on the agenda, approval of the minutes for our meeting on November 5th, 2025. I've reviewed the minutes and I approve the minutes. At this point, please swear in all staff members.
Please state Mike.
Michael Jarahan.
Oscar Moreira.
Paula Guy.
Melissa Brubaker.
Marlene Moise.
Brian Alves.
Josh Guevara. Mike Winkler.
Holly Robertson. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Item 5 on the agenda, public comments. If you'd like to speak about something at this point, this is your time. The general public has an opportunity, although it should not involve anything involving any case on today's agenda. It's just a general comment, period. Seeing no one, we'll move on to the consent agenda. We have a rescinding of order imposing fine and lien, case number 2205-108-147. Satisfaction of fine and release of lien, Dolores Camiso, case number 106618. And satisfaction of fine and release of lien for James Clark Estate, 93517. In reference to the cases that I just read into the record, I accept and adopt.
Hold on, Mr. Krieger, there's one more that we need to add to that. It's a satisfaction of fine and lien. It was added.
Okay, so there's a second one. There's also a satisfaction of fine and release of lien for the James Clark Life Estate, case number 83862. And the other names on that for Lakeisha Stokes and Edward Maynor. So those are the cases being read into the record for the consent agenda. And I will accept and adopt the consent agenda as submitted.
Thank you.
Section 7, fine hearings. Just a reminder, the individuals, the entities that will appear today in this section have already been found in violation. So what we're going to consider today is the gravity of the situation and the efforts taken by the alleged violators to correct the situation, the alleged violation. And then those are the things we're going to focus on in this section, and then I'll determine what fine will be imposed. Case number 2311-112082, location of violation 4788 North US Highway 1 in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Indrio One LLC in Hollywood, Florida. As point of reference, Section C on the agenda has been abated. So we have Sections A and Sections B that are still pending. Is there anybody here to speak? Yes, sir.
state your name and address for record.
George David. I am here on representation for the owners of the property Indrio 1,
And your address?
3300 North 29th Avenue, Hollywood, Florida.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. The investigating officer, Mr. Morera.
Good morning, Your Magistrate. For the record, I am resubmitting 7 photos dated August the 4th, 2025. And I am submitting 5 photos dated November the 10th, 2025. 5 photos dated November the 15th, 2025. 5 photos dated December the 1st, 2025. This case was brought to the August 6th, 2025 for Section 13.09.00, Exterior Property Maintenance Code, Section 303.2. Please repair the holes on the wall throughout the entire structure. Section 13.8.
Okay, I found this on the web for property maintenance.
I'm so sorry, Siri. Bad Siri. Section 1308.01 Standard Housing Code. Section 305 Interior Structure. Please repair the walls in disrepair. At the August 6, 2025 Code Board hearing, the contractor was present. The property was found in violation, and the magistrate made the decision to present the case at the December 3rd, 2025 Code Board hearing with a compliance date of November 1st, 2025. Permit BLDC 2309-001629 was issued for the alteration of the structure. As of December the 1st, 2025, the property remains in violation.
Sir, you're on.
Good morning, staff. I believe this meeting, as you explained, was to consider imposing fines at this point. This was a code hearing prior to that. To refresh everybody's memory, briefly, we were coming up to an impasse from some of the previous meetings as to whether or not substantial work was completed towards abating the violation. And we had determined that between meetings between the code department and the building department, that there wasn't really a definitive description of the comprehensive nature of the violation, because it's a large property and it's a little bit complex, the way it's built and the history in it. There's a lot to it. So as we attempted to complete the violation on one part of the property, other parts of the property still existed to be in violation according to the letter of the code. We then came to terms on what we were going to do. A plan of action was to address the comprehensive nature of the offensive violations that existed on the whole property. We're going to address them as a whole and then go back towards putting them back together as a whole and eventually end up with a completed, renovated, repaired, basically renovated space that would be allowable for occupancy. The occupancy would not be approved as part of this permitting system that we're working on now. That would have to come secondary through the planning department, the zoning department, things like that, depending on the tenant. It was to move into the bay. So this was not an occupancy issue. It was a issue to address the unsafe and unkempt conditions around the property. That being said, this was kind of developed between the last 2 meetings that we've had here. Time was given to us in order to get our plan together and establish it through the building and the code department, which we attempted to do, and we did. And if you look at some of the pictures from previously and now, this is the current picture, we've removed a lot of the offending conditions around the property, and are now, which I just spoke with Mr. Jarahan on. My plan of action was to now come back in with the necessary engineering to put the building back together and to meet minimum code standards as well as building code standards, as well as county code standards. So at the moment, we are in substantial progress with that. That particular building there had a roof system on it that was kind of like a Frankenstein monster. We didn't really know how to approach that. We decided to remove it and install a new one, modernized, to meet better code on both sides of the venue, building and city code, county code. This is also a part of the result of the demolition activity to remove the offensive structures around the property. Those wall panels had all been damaged over the years by hurricanes, multiple hurricanes that have blown through. So we just removed them in whole and going to replace them like kind in whole, which is already permitted. That aspect was permitted already. So now the next step is, since we've made this amount of progress, the next step is to now come back in with some shop drawings and things for a new roof system, which Mr. Jarahan is waiting for me to do, and start moving forward back towards reconstruction of the property. So that's our next step, or the next phase of this project.
Mr. Jarahan, do you have any comments?
The project's a substantial project. They have made a lot of steps since we got the whole permitting issue squared away. They do have the permit to replace the roof structure, and they've removed, there was a intermediary structure between that front building and the warehouse. They have the permit for the repair of all of it. We're just waiting on the shop drawings, which they had to get in there and demo to see what kind of system they can put back in there and how they would go about putting that back in there. Looks like there may have been damage to one of the walls, which they'll have to have the engineer look at as well. We knew even once they got the permit portion figured out, this was going to be a substantial project that wasn't going to be done quickly. So to me, it seems like they're actually moving forward at this point and actually getting some work done on that site.
So you would say substantial progress has been made as far as alleviating some of the problems there?
Yes. I mean, they still have a way to go, but there's definitely been progress made.
Good faith effort.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes.
how much longer?
I believe that a lot of it is predicated by our permit. I believe we're about 90 days into our existing permit, right? We can keep it ongoing through inspection process if I'm able to get approvals on requested permit inspections. My permit to do the actual work that's been issued will continue on in 6-month intervals. We have not yet called in an inspection during this period of time. The only thing we could really get an inspection on is a in-progress inspection, which would then call the building authorities out to look at the site and determine whether or not we did make progress. And then that would be, I believe, that would be a function to, if it was approved, it would increase the length, re-up the permit for another 6 months, 180 days.
If I
So-
can make a suggestion, I would say if we can come back in 60 days and maybe check progress, just to make sure that it's actually still moving forward and we don't just have a structure sitting there and we haven't gotten shop drawings, things of that nature. And just continually check in that manner. Like I said, just to make sure there's still that good faith effort going forward rather than just having the permit extend out with an in progress every time. I think that would be fair.
So your recommendation is to continue this matter for 60 days?
Yeah, I think that would be the best option. And see,
Counsel.
like I said, see to make sure
Any
that we're
objection?
actually moving
No
forward.
objection.
Can I make a comment on that?
Oh, absolutely.
So my understanding is we are in progress of consulting with structural engineers and architects and whatever need be. If I don't know when that is going to be exactly forthcoming as to when that will be ready for me to do that. We do have the permit in place. The shop drawings shouldn't take too long to develop them. So basically what I'm requesting is by the time we get that together, get it in front of the building department for review and approval if it does get approved, which we've developed a conceptual plan so like kind will be coming in like our concept development. And it is in fact issued, that could probably be another 30 days. So then we would, once we have that in hand, we can go to work on, we can continue to work on the project with what we're addressing for restoration of the rest of the building, wall panels and things like that, because we've already got permits for that, like the main building in the back. We have that's been approved, the repair of that building.
Correct.
Has been
No,
approved.
and yeah, and obtaining those shop drawings would be considered progress for that, but just to continue for 6 days, just to see that progress. Even if we come back and say, okay, yeah, they've submitted those shop drawings.
That's what I'm saying.
They've gotten
That's
some
what
panel-
I'm asking.
Right. That's what that continuance would be, is essentially to check on and
yeah,
make sure
was
that there's still
I
that.
just was clearing
Yeah.
as an understanding for that. I'm in agreement with that, that's fine. So the next step will be, develop the shop drawings and in the meantime possibly make more effort towards restoration of the areas that we can work on with the permit in hand as already.
Correct.
So if they come out and Mr. Waskar comes out and re-inspects within that hearing date, which I'm assuming would be that would be what, December,
February 4th.
February 4th meeting, yeah. So I think that's fair enough, and then you can see where we're going from that point. Once we get to that point, I think it'll be mostly, smooth sailing from there.
Refresh my recollection, when was this case originally initiated?
That would be November 22nd, 2025.
This is a
Or wait,
2023.
That's
No,
the
I
fine
think
date for the fine hearing.
That's
This,
the fine
this dates back to 2023. I think it was November of 23 when
correct.
this started. They had a couple project managers, from my understanding, that kind of flaked out and went away, and there was a lot of back and forth with the structure and what they were going to do with it. They had a lot of concerns with going into the planning phase. That's where Mr. David stepped in to get something comprehensive, to get it back to a shell structure, avoiding that process, and then later visiting that process when they actually do the build out of the structure. Just to add for a note, this property at one point was ag exempt, so there was a lot of work done that didn't require permits, I'll say back in the day. So, I mean, there was a lot that had to be evaluated and looked at from an engineering standpoint. It's not a typical structure where they just walk in and say, hey, throw this up and we'll be good to go.
Well, I'm inclined to grant the continuance based on the fact that actions have been taken to alleviate the problem. So you're showing us a good faith effort, and even though this case is over 2 years old. Okay. All right, I move that we continue case number 2311-112082 to the magistrate hearing on February 4th, 2026.
Thank you for your consideration.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then you'll be hearing from me soon.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Case number 2507-115-444. Location of violation, 3008 North 25th Street in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Eric Snow Chiromaka. Is anybody here?
That's me.
Yes, sir. Come on forward and get sworn in.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Eric Churumka, 3008 North 25th Street, Fort Pierce.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, Mr. Morera, present
Yes,
your
sir.
case.
For the record, I am resubmitting 3 photos dated July the 21st, 2025, 1 photo dated August 7, 2025, 2 photos dated September the 11th, 2025, 5 photos dated September the 22nd, 2025, 8 photos dated September the 29th, 2025, and 1 aerial photo obtained from the St. Lucie County Information Geographical System website. And I am submitting 6 photos dated November 20, 2025, and 4 photos dated December the 1st, 2025. This case was brought to the October 1st, 2025 Code Board hearing for Section 8-26, abandoned property, junk, trash, and debris, outside storage. Section 38-97, prohibited acts, overgrowth. Section 3.01.3, Juliet, residential, single family. Commercial vehicles are not permitted in residential districts. Please remove the commercial vehicles from the property. It is not allowed. Section 8.00.03, Foxtrot, outdoor storage of recreational equipment. Only 2 recreational equipment, such as the trailers and boats, are allowed on the property. Please remove additional. At the October 1st, 2025, the property owner was present and was found in violation. The magistrate made the decision to present the case at the December 3rd, 2025 Code Board fine hearing with a compliance date of December the 1st, 2025. I have remained in contact with the owner. As of December the 1st, 2025, the property remains in violation.
Yes, Mr. Tramonka, are these pictures accurate that were taken just 2 days ago?
No, they are not. Those are old pictures before work was started from the original, from the start of the case.
I'm talking about like this photo here, dated December 1st, 2025. Is all that still there?
No, it is not, and
Do you have any evidence to show me that it isn't still there?
well, Your Honor, I have a problem with these photos because I've spoken with the owner of the property. Originally, the case was the person that was listed as a complainant. Her name is Virginia Owens, and she's not the owner, and she does not live there, and she's listed as the complainant, and with that being her address. So the complainant information is incorrect. Although she did call because there were squatters, or not squatters, but there was a man that was breaking into my house repeatedly and stealing stuff, and she called to report that. And then she said that she didn't call to complain about the stuff in my backyard, but the front yard was really bad because I had 3 boats in the front yard, and it was overgrown, and it was really out of control because I hadn't done anything in 2 months up here. So that being said, I have completely cleaned up, removed everything from the front yard except for the 1 boat that I use, and everything else is gone. The grass is cut, it's neat, and it's clean. The sides of the house, I've done the same thing, removed stuff and mowed everything. And so everything that you can see from the street is very presentable and normal. Although it was abnormal, it was out of control. Now it's normal. So that being said, I had a meeting last night with the complainant, and she said that Officer Moe had called her on Monday, but they didn't get to talk, and then she tried to call him back because I'm assuming that for Officer Moe to go on her property and take pictures of my property, he has to get permission. And so whenever he was there on Monday, I think he took pictures so that he could have them here today. he didn't follow the normal protocol for him to obtain permission to go on their property. And that being said, I have the violations that let me see. The violations that are listed, the number one violation were the outdoor storage of recreational equipment. That has been resolved. I only have my 19-foot Pursuit and my little 12-foot Sunfish sailboat there now. Abandoned property and junk, violation code 3826, abandoned property, junk, trash and debris. There is no abandoned property. There's no junk, there's no trash, and there's no debris. Outside storage of items and materials are not permitted. It says, please remove items such as tires, surfboards, steel storage rack, appliance, plastic containers, and other miscellaneous items from the property. That, when I sold my house in West Palm Beach to come live up here, there's three things on the property that were not in my garage. I have a Bobcat business, and my second Bobcat is in the backyard parked. I had the refrigerator from my house in West Palm Beach and the washer and dryer from my house in West Palm Beach. And that's been removed. The Bobcat, I haven't removed it yet from the backyard. I'm still clearing, but a quarter of the backyard has been cleaned out. Tires gone. What else? Surfboard's gone. Steel storage rack. Plastic containers and other miscellaneous items. The storage racks are for my own personal use. They're not industrial equipment. They are shelves for items that I had stored in my two-car garage in West Palm Beach. And they will be used again as soon as I have I'm making an application I've signed up for a permit, a survey and a permit to have a steel building built in the backyard. And that will be done pretty soon. So all these items that are for my own personal use, not industrial use, not industrial equipment, they're, okay, so let's go to violation code 3.01.03, residential single family. It says commercial vehicles are not permitted in residential districts. Please remove the commercial vehicles from the property. It is not allowed.
Your Honor, I think this is going beyond what we're here for today. The officers presented testimony and photographic evidence demonstrating that the violations still remain. All we have today is from the respondent is his testimony that all violations have been corrected. I don't know, going through these piece by piece, each violation, without his evidence proving that the property has come into compliance, I don't see how this will be productive today. If Your Honor wants to continue it for 30 days to allow him to provide some sort of photographic evidence or additional evidence, that would not be preferred by the county, but in the interest of moving this forward, the county would move that we either rule on our testimony and photographic evidence as entered, or continue it at this time.
Mr. Marrero,
Yes, sir.
those pictures you took, those are accurate?
Yes, sir. I did contact Mrs. Owens, and she granted me access to the property. She did happen to mention that Mr. Snow confronted her about the case, and but I did get access and permission from whether she's the owner or the tenant, but Mrs. Owen granted me access to the property. When I was there, he had put the boat back in the front. Nothing was done in the back. I mean, the property was still in violation. I drove by yesterday. I didn't take any pictures, but he happened to be out there yesterday, and the property remained the same.
You understand, sir, it's not only what's out front of a dwelling, the back, even if you can't see it, if it's in violation, it's in violation. The code doesn't make a distinction about front of the house and back of the house. How much time do you think you need to clean the rest of this stuff up?
Well, I haven't completely moved up here yet. I moved my belongings, but I'm still working in West Palm Beach at least through the end of the year and maybe the first 2 weeks of January. So coming up here, I can come up for weekends and 2 or 3 days at a time here, but I
You're-
have to.
If the property's already been cleaned up, as he's testified, then there should be no need for an additional time to clean up the property.
But the photographs show that it hasn't been cleaned up.
I need more time, Your Honor. I'd like to request a continuance.
What we're going to do here is, when was this case initiated originally?
7/22/25.
July the 22nd,
So
sir.
July. You've had notice of this since July. That's almost half a year. All right,
It's,
you've been
yeah.
found, let's remember, you've been found in violation, and we're here today to decide what you've done to alleviate the situation. And based on the photographs I see, there's still a lot of work to be done. So what we're going to do is we're going to impose a fine today, but we're going to give you a little time in the motion to clean everything up before the fine actually takes place. But if you don't do it, the fine's going to automatically kick in. Okay?
Okay. How much time will I have, Your Honor?
We're going to consider that right now. You said till the middle of January. How about, let's see, we've got December, January. I think January 15th will give you. All right. In reference to case number 2507-115-444.
Well, Your
I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting January 15th, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000. Thank you. Yeah, till January 15th.
Your Honor,
If you get it all done and call Mr. Marrero will come and inspect the property, and if you're in compliance, you don't have to come back, and there's no fine.
Your Honor, I'm sorry to
Well, the case is, we're done. I'm sorry, sir.
I
You've had an opportunity to speak. You've had an opportunity to present your evidence. I see no photographs presented by you to prove some of your statements. And Mr. Marrero has provided evidence. I have to consider the evidence, and I've done that, and the actions taken by you to correct
I'll be
the
working
situation.
full-time until, I told you I'll be working full-time till January 15th.
Thank you, sir.
And-
Just
and
for
I'm-
your information and just for anybody that's watching or in the audience, once the property does come into compliance, you can apply for a lien reduction if that, if you're able to get it into compliance, but it's not by that time, you can come back and, there's a program that the county offers at certain times of the year, a lien amnesty program, or you can appeal to the magistrate for a lien reduction. So our goal here really is compliance, and we want to get the properties and everything in line with the code. So that's the ultimate goal here. It's not to be punitive or, come down on you for not doing it in a timely fashion, but we need to have something to entice you to move forward in getting the property into compliance.
I understand what you're saying, but Your Honor, I will not be able to have it done by January 15th. I have to work full-time.
Well,
I'd like to go into February.
This matter has been pending since July.
Yeah, and
You may need to hire somebody to help you out here.
I don't have money to hire somebody, but I
We
am
want
working on it.
compliance.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Progress has been made. A quarter of the backyard is cleared. And
Pictures are pretty rough, as far as I'm concerned. What I just saw presented by staff, there's a lot of work to be done there. I don't want to belabor this anymore. You heard from the county attorney. If you don't get it done by January 15th, once you do get it done, you're more than welcome to come forward and to request a fine reduction. And I'll take a look at what you've done and how you've cleaned the property up. And if you have, I'm sure we'll work something out.
I'm sorry, Your Honor,
That's
but I consider that judgment to be unreasonable, and I really do need
You
a
do
little
have
more
the
time.
opportunity to appeal. Thank you. You'll see that in the order. Thank you. We have to move on. Case number 2503-114660. Location of violation 100 Balsa Road in Fort Pierce. Property owner is William Braun.
Please state your names and addresses for the record.
Diana Schoenbraun.
You just, right in front of the microphone, otherwise it won't pick up.
Diana Schoenbraun. William Braun.
Okay, please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. We'll hear from Mr. Morera.
For the record, I am resubmitting 3 photos dated April the 8th, 2025, 2 photos dated March the 11th, 2025, 3 photos dated May the 5th, 2025, 3 photos dated on September the 19th, 2025, 1 aerial picture from the property appraiser website, 2 pictures dated on September the 29th, 2025, and I am submitting 2 photos dated November the 21st, 2025, and 2 photos dated December the 1st, 2025. This case was brought to the October 1st, 2025 Court Board for Section 11.05.00, procedures for obtaining a development permit. A zoning compliant is required to run a vehicle storage business from the property. Section 11.05.01, building and sign permits. Please obtain a permit for the shed and the fence. Section 42-103, payment of tax prerequisite to engage in a business. Please obtain a business tax receipt license for the business on the property. At the October 1st, 2025 Court Board hearing, the property owner was present, and the magistrate made the decision to present the case at the December 3rd, 2025 Court Board fine hearing with a compliance date of November the 17th, 2025. Fence permit FENC 2503-001630 permit was submitted March 15, 2025, and is currently in review and cannot be issued until after the waiver, deferral, or alternative application is completed and approved. Zoning compliance application 2503-000465 for the business was submitted March 15, 2025, is currently in review. There's no permit for the shed on file at this time. I have remained in contact with the owner. As of December the 1st, 2025, the property remains in violation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
After, we've been trying to work with one engineer, and she just keeps taking money and not making any changes. We do have a conceptual site plan, and a digital copy will be uploaded for our site plan permit, our fence permit, and our shed permit within the next 24 to 48 hours. We have found an engineer that's willing to work with it because we couldn't find anybody locally to work on it because of what was done. So I need maybe 3 to 5 weeks at tops to have all my permits in place.
Anybody else from staff have a comment?
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record.
Founder Lanise, Business Navigator.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do. Good morning. So the Bronze have been very communicative. They have shared their progress with us. They have struggled with finding an engineer to approve, to complete the plans needed to approve the site. They do not need a site plan, but they do need a site development permit for the improvements. They do need a building permit for the shed, which will be the primary structure on the property. They do need a permit for the fence, and then, of course, ultimately a zoning compliance once that's all completed. Our Public Works Department and our Building Department have both committed to turning around reviews as quickly as possible once the materials are submitted. I did meet with the applicant briefly this morning as well. They do have a conceptual plan, however, it doesn't show things like drainage and a few other details that are going to be necessary to get to the finish line. I'm hopeful that the new engineer will reach out to us promptly so that we can make sure that the information that's prepared is complete and accurate for their needs. It's really going to depend on the timeliness and accuracy of the engineer for how quickly we can get this through the permitting process. I should also note that they are no longer pursuing the waivers, deferrals, and alternatives path, so the site does need to be brought into full compliance in order to get a zoning compliance.
Mr. Jernigan, any comments based on
don't-
what you heard?
I don't have anything at this time. They would have to have all the site development permits and everything in place in order to obtain the building permits for the structures to be allowed on there.
And you've indicated it's going to take how long to get everything?
Maybe
to that?
3 to 5 weeks at tops.
This is what your engineer is telling you?
Correct. He's actually been texting me back and forth all morning.
Once you get everything to the county, how long of a time frame are we looking at, Mr. Jernigan, to review everything?
Ours will depend on the site development permit. I know for building, our reviews don't take longer than 15 days. Since there's a code case, we can knock that down to a 5-day review time plus a 5-day taking the application in. But they also have the site development permit end of it.
Staff is recommending a fine of $250 a day with a maximum fine of $10,000 to begin November 7th. That's your position?
Yes.
Based on what you've heard today, are you willing to change your position?
The county doesn't object.
As far as,
Continuance for an extended amount of time.
or an extended amount of time?
Correct.
Say 3 to 4 weeks if we get that in 2 months. What I'm going to do is, you've made some efforts. We'll give you a little time.
Thank you.
I'm going to, however, impose the fine, but I'm going to give a date down the line, so then we can see at that point if you've come into compliance, and then the fine will not take effect.
Thank you.
Okay? And if you haven't, as you heard in the last case, you can certainly come back once you are in compliance for a fine reduction.
Thank you.
Okay. In reference to case number 2503-114-660, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting January 15th, 2026, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 2507-115401. Location of violation, 3601 Avenue S, Fort Pierce. Property owner, Affordable Housing of Florida, LLC.
Please state your names and addresses.
Melissa Canales, 5387 Northwest Miller Drive, Port St. Lucie, Florida, 3823.
Deidre Kidwell, 5804 Winter Garden Parkway, Fort Pierce, Florida, 34951.
Please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Josh Guevara, Investigating Officer, your turn.
Good morning, Special Magistrate. For the record, I am submitting 3 photos dated September 29th, 2025, 2 photos dated November 10th, 2025, and 1 dated December 1st, 2025. 3601 Avenue S was found in violation of Section 7.9.05, exotic vegetation encroaching into the neighboring property, including Portia Tree and Seaside Mahomes. A notice of violation letter was issued on July 15th, and a notice to appear letter was issued, on August 18th, 2025 for the Code Board hearing of October 1st, 2025. At the October 1st, 2025 Code Enforcement hearing, the property was found in violation by default and given until November 7th, 2025 to comply, or a daily fine would be imposed. I've had no contact with the property owner. Yesterday, I received a call from a landscaper who advised that he had been hired by the property owner to rectify the violations, and he asked that I forward over some photos via email, which I did, so he could review them.
Please, tell us the situation.
Hi, I just started working with Mr. Hatfield, and I came aware of the situation, which I called Grego Construction to look at the problem and give us an estimate to work on the problem, which he sent that over yesterday. So I was asking if we could have a continuance just to get the vegetation removed, or an extension.
When was this case initiated?
Started back in July 15th. It's when the initial notice of violation was issued.
Okay. Staff is recommending a fine of $250 a day, beginning of November 7th, 2025. Do you still want to proceed with that, or?
Yes, I do. This is a reoccurring problem at this property. We've had many fines imposed for the condition of the property. Also, in addition, lot cleanups that the county has done assessments and had to place the amounts for those. I could tell you 2 in the last 3 years on the property to be placed on the tax rolls for reimbursement of the county coming in and cleaning the property up.
Okay. So your recommendation stands?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say?
Get it cleaned up.
Get it cleaned up, and then you can come for a fine reduction. Okay, because I'm going to impose a fine based on the situation.
I had one question, because I know that the county did go out there and cut some of the trees. Do you have anything to show us of exactly what needs to be removed and how much?
Yeah, I emailed it to the contractor yesterday. If you provide an email, I can email you photos. You see it on the screen, that vegetation that's encroaching into the neighboring property has to be trimmed back into your property to avoid encroachment into the neighboring property. But yeah, if you provide some type of contact information, I could discuss.
In reference to case number 2507-115401, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff, that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day, as recommended by staff, shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 7th, 2025, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000. Thank you.
My card's up there. My name is Paula. Okay.
Case number 2504-114833. Location of violation, 4000 Avenue L in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Marie J. Baptiste Franz Duval from Lake Worth. Anybody here? Mr. Guevara? Nobody's here, but please show me what you have.
Yes, sir. For the record, I'm submitting one photo dated May 19th, 2025, two photos dated September 29th, 2025, and one dated December 1st, 2025. 4000 Avenue L was found in violation of section 7.10.14, commercial vehicle in residential area. A notice of violation letter was issued on May 1st, 2025, and a notice to appear letter was issued on September 19th, 2025 for the code board hearing of October 1st, 2025. At the October 1st, 2025 code enforcement hearing, the property was found in violation by default and given until November 7th, 2025 to comply, or a $250 daily fine would be imposed. I've had no contact with the property owner, and as of today's date, the property remains in violation.
Thank you. Nobody's here. In reference to case number 2504-114833, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day, as recommended by staff, shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 7th, 2025, with a maximum fine not to exceed $10,000. Case number 2508-115506. Location of violation, a vacant lot across from 3601 Avenue S, Fort Pierce. The property owner, Juan Carlos Vasquez Canto. Anybody here? Seeing no one, we'll hear from Mr. Guevara.
Yes, sir. For the record, I am submitting one photo dated August 7th, 2025, one dated September 29th, 2025, and one dated December 1st, 2025. The vacant lot across from 3601 Avenue S was found in violation of section 3897 for overgrowth. A notice of violation letter was issued on August 1st, and a notice to appear letter was issued on September 16, 2025 for the code board hearing of October 1st, 2025. At the October 1st, 2025 code enforcement hearing, the property was found in violation by default and given until November 7th, 2025 to comply, or a $250 daily fine would be imposed. I've had no contact with the property owner, and as of today's date, the property remains in violation.
Thank you. In reference to case number 2508-115506, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day, as recommended by staff, shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 7th, 2025, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000. Case number 2507-115479. Location of violation, 110 Banyan Drive, Port St. Lucie. Property owner, Jamie Rolando Aguilar Sandy V. Dorantes. Anybody here? Seeing no one, we'll hear from Mr. Guevara.
Yes, sir. For the record, I am submitting 2 photos dated September 29th, 2025, and 2 dated December 1st, 2025. 110 Banyan Drive was found in violation of Section 110501, expired permit BLDR 2405-006206 for window replacement, and Section 3826 for outside storage. A notice of violation letter was issued on July 30th, 2025. After receiving no compliance, a notice to appear letter was issued on August 14th, 2025 for the Code Board hearing of October 1st, 2025. At the October 1st, 2025 Code Enforcement hearing, the property was found in violation by default and given until November 7th, 2025 to comply. I've had no contact with the property owner, and as of today's date, the property remains in violation.
Thank you. In reference to case number 2507-115479, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day, as recommended by staff, shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 7th, 2025, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000. Case number 2503-114635. Location of violation 2445 Jernigan Road in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Michael A. and Christina L. Langen. Anybody here? Mr. Guevara.
Mr. Curry's here representing.
Oh, Mr. Curry.
That's far an alleyway.
Yeah. Please state your name and address.
Brad Curry, 1250 Southwest Village Parkway, Port St. Lucie, Florida.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, sir. For the record, I am resubmitting 1 photo dated March 13th, 2025, 3 photos dated August 18th, 2025, and 1 photo dated September 2nd, 2025. 2445 Jernigan Road was found in violation of Section 110501, for an unpermitted roof extension on the metal storage building. A notice of violation letter was issued on March 13th, 2025, and a notice to appear letter was issued on August 6th, 2025. Notice to appear was also issued and posted on August 28th, 2025, for the Code Board hearing of September 3rd, 2025. At the September 3rd, 2025 Code Enforcement hearing, the property was found in violation and given until November 5th, 2025 to comply, or a $250 daily fine would be imposed. A demo permit number BLDR 2510-010160 for the unpermitted extension was applied for on October 30th, 2025, and was issued yesterday, December 2nd, 2025. The neighbor is also here, and he would like to speak to the special magistrate.
So they've applied for the permit
The
already?
permit has been issued. It was
has
issued
been issued.
yesterday.
So they're in compliance? It's abated?
Right, that's correct. It's, the neighbor wants to be heard.
Well, let's hear from the representative.
Thank you, Mr. Krieger. For the record, Brad Curry with Haley Ward. I believe staff did an excellent job presenting the work that's been completed on this project, and as staff stated, there was a permit issued yesterday. With everything that was going on with the holidays, we were a little bit delayed. We submitted the permit on October the 30th. We received a comment from St. Louis County on November 19th stating that we were missing one of the documents for the building permit. With the holidays and everything else that happened, we did get the form on 11/20. We submitted the form on 12/1, which was Monday, and then a fee was generated and the fee was paid yesterday, so the permit was issued yesterday. So we were very much on top of this, and we are sorry that it's taken so long, but we are, at this time, we are in compliance. If there is someone that would like, from the public that would like to get up and speak, I would like the ability to rebut anything that they would say.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Please identify yourself.
George Emerson, 2375 Jernigan Road. I'm the complainant in this case.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I'm sorry we have to be here today, but I think you pointed out last time that we might be. In this particular case, although I heard the comments towards abatement of the situation, but the order given at the last meeting was to remove the improper structure by November 5th. As of today, it's still there. I'm under the understanding of the process that a permit has to be pulled for the removal. But in this case, there's a clear pattern of conduct on the part of the neighbor. This case started when I initiated it in December of last year, 1 full year. I approached them. I'm just going to summarize this for you. I approached them. They said they'd take it down. They needed the holidays in order to comply. I waited until after the holidays. By January, it was still up, a month and a half later. I approached him again. He told me, file a code enforcement complaint. I did. That was March. From March until September, there were multiple visits to the site by code enforcement officers. No compliance. Finally, some action was taken in September. 2 months passed, 2 months since your order to remove the structure before they even came in to pull a permit for removal. It's still there. This is the pattern of conduct that I think needs to be considered in determining whether a fine should be imposed. I haven't seen any progress. Just because you come in and pull a permit doesn't mean that by any date certain in the future it's going to be removed. When there's a clear pattern that nothing has been done for a year, I would say that my opinion is it hasn't been abated and the fine should be upheld. That's simply my opinion, but I hope you take it under consideration. If you need a picture of what it exists like today, I have it and can provide it at your convenience.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Curry?
Thank you, Mr. Krieger. So we talk about a pattern of conduct, and I think that's an interesting statement that's made. Mr. Emerson, the last time we were before this board, he did mention this, and I don't believe anyone caught what he said, but what he said is that he helped build this structure. He brought his tractor over and helped the gentleman build this structure when they were first starting to build this structure. The structure was completely built, and then he decided to turn it into code enforcement. So we talk about pattern of conduct. You would think that if you were being neighborly and you thought there was an issue with your neighbor, that you would not help them build the structure to completion and then file a code enforcement case. So we are doing this as best that we can. Mr. Langen has got a full-time job. He's a owner of a very successful marine mechanic business. He's got 2 girls that are in volleyball and horses, and he has done the best that he's could. And based on my experience being on this board, Mr. Krieger, I was on this board for many years, Mr. Langen has done way better than most applicants or most people that come before this board. So again, the case is abated based on the violation that a permit has to be issued.
And as a point of
When do you
reference, the order was to obtain a permit
Right.
to remove or for the structure, so that was the order.
Right, I understand that. When do you anticipate the demolition to take care?
Probably shortly after the holidays, yes, sir. After Christmas. we'll
And the
start working
permit
on it.
gives you how long to do this?
180 days.
180 days. It's got to be done.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more comment, if I may.
Sure.
To rebut what was just said, I didn't help build the structure. There was an unsafe practice going on my property line, and I didn't want the individual falling from the upper part of this structure onto my property and potentially involving me in a lawsuit. So I offered neighborly the use of my tractor so he wouldn't fall. I didn't help build the structure in any way.
Thank you. Staff, any other comments with regard to this?
No.
Your original recommendation was a fine. What are your thoughts with regard to no fine because of abatement?
I think sticking to what we speak about at all these hearings, that our end goal is compliance, and they are compliant. So that's where my thoughts are.
Exactly, that's why we're here, compliance. In reference to case number 2503-114635, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony and the report of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine that the violations have been abated and no fine is imposed. Thank you. Case number 2502-114600. Location of violation 3606 Avenue O, Fort Pierce. Property owner, Robert L. Cash Estate. Anybody representing the estate? All right, Paula Guy, you're up.
Good morning. Just as a refresher, on February 24th, a citizen complaint was received regarding the condition of the fire-damaged home and debris. And for the record, all my photos submitted are a true and accurate representation of my observations while on site. The house fire occurred on July 4th, 2024, and 3606 Avenue O was found in violation of Section 13.09.00, Section 111.1, unsafe conditions of a primary residence, 38-97, prohibited acts of overgrowth, Section 38-26, abandoned property, junk, trash, and debris, and Section 38-24, abandoned property on public lands of debris and county right-of-way. At the October 1st, 2025 hearing, the attorney was present for the property owners and a date set for compliance was given by the special magistrate of November 17th, 2025. No permits have been applied for the required demolition or any attempts for cleanup to be done on the property. I've had no owner contact since August 29th, 25, and we have not been able to make communication with the attorney that was present to verify attendance today. So as of today's date, the property does remain in violation, and I do have an emergency order case pending to establish a demolition to be done for the county to take care of the violation that's been in place for an extended amount of time.
That's in front of the county commission?
Not yet.
Not
It
yet,
was
but
pending
you
today's
plan-
outcome to see.
Okay.
Yes.
And just to add to that from the building side, there was a notice of intent to demolish or substantially repair a structure for being unsafe back in March. They had requested an extension initially while they seek counsel and all that. That communication's pretty much fallen off, so that'll be getting posted again.
Thank you. In reference to case number 2502-114600, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the report of staff that the violation still exists, and having considered the gravity of the violation, the actions, if any, taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations, I make the following determination. A fine of $250 per day, as recommended by staff, shall be imposed for each day the violation exists, starting November 17th, 2025, with a maximum fine not to exceed $5,000. I believe that concludes our fine hearings. We're going to move to the violation hearings, but let's just take a short recess, and we will reconvene at 10:20. Cove Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Juan Baraneche. And this case was continued from March 5th, 2025 and May 7th, 2025. Is the alleged violator here?
Your Honor, he is not. He works and lives in Miami. This is a project of his that he has been working on. This is, to be honest with you, it's been going on since June 7th, 2023.
Yeah, I see
With the
that.
former homeowner, and the former homeowner was taking care of most of this. Now, the homeowner current has applied for a new permit. He got his variance from planning, so he is all set and going forward.
Oh, interesting.
Again, he
Yeah,
bel-
yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, I would normally go ahead with the default, but based on what you're saying, yeah, please present the case. All right, just present the case like you normally would, and let me look at that, because I think we might be able to do something different than a default.
Would you like me to include the
Are you,
prior?
I mean, are you basically saying that they're in compliance?
They're not in compliance yet because the permit has not been issued. But from what I'm seeing, everything's in there, and he is working on this. And it's not like he has not communicated with me. If anything, I think the holidays and that, he thought by getting this applied for and that
It would take care of
he was
everything.
taken care of. And when we
When
talked
did you talk to him last?
yesterday,
And he
Yeah.
didn't think he had to come today?
correct. And I kind of
And did you tell him he had to come?
I said, you know, that your notice was when they told you back on the 7th of May, I believe that was, that you need to, I'm sorry, it was March 7th,
Yeah.
2025, that they told you it would be continued to the 3rd of December 2025. That was
Yeah.
kind of your notice, but I mean, I see where he's at. He is coming into compliance.
And he's communicating with you.
Correct, I would say.
All right, let's continue this for a month.
That's what I was going to say.
If you
we
have
could
no
for him.
objection. Okay?
If we could.
We'll
yeah.
give him an opportunity to come here and see what's going on.
That works.
All right, so in reference to case number 2406-113-133, I will continue this case to the code hearing on January 7th, 2026. Case number 2504-114-896, location of violation 9900 South Ocean Drive, 1202, Jensen Beach. The property owner is Jeffrey John Smith. Hello, sir.
Good morning, Jeff Smith, 9900
South Ocean.
South Ocean Boulevard, Unit 1202, Jetson Beach. Yes, ma'am.
Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. We'll hear from the investigating officer, Merlande Moyes.
For the record, I am resubmitting 23 photos dated April 15, 2025. During my first inspection, I found the property located at 9900 South Ocean Drive, Unit 1202, in violation for Section 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 305 Interior Structure. The ceiling must be in good repair. Please repair the peeling/chipping paint. Section 11.05.01 Building and sign permits to please obtain a permit for the plumbing work. Section 11.05.01 Building and sign permits to please obtain a permit for the renovations. Section 11.05.01 Building and sign permits to please obtain a permit for the electrical work. Section 13.08.01 Standard Housing Code, Section 504.3 Electrical system hazards to please place cover plates on all electrical outlets and electrical light switches. A notice of violation was issued on April 18, 2025, with a correction date of May 2, 2025. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear was issued on August 29, 2025, for the November 5, 2025 St. Lucie Code Special Magistrate meeting. At the November 5, 2025 St. Lucie County Code Special Magistrate meeting, the owner was present. The special magistrate made a decision to continue the case to the December 3, 2025 St. Lucie County Code Special Magistrate meeting. I have had contact with the owner. As of December 3, 2025, the property does remain in violation. The owner is here.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, sir.
what progress have you made?
The DPPR issued charges against the previous contractor. That was sent out on November the 21st. I was hoping the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office would be here to give me an update on the criminal charges that were going to be assessed to him. He's not here today, so I don't have an update on that. The civil court has gone forward. I have signed a new contractor to come in. I just spoke with Ms. Moyes. The paperwork is being submitted to get the permits done, and I'd like to get this started as soon as she approves the permit with the new contractor.
You said there's a civil case
Yes, sir.
and it's been initiated.
Yes, sir.
Look
Civil
at
and
it.
criminal.
Pardon?
Civil and criminal.
Now, who is the individual we're talking about?
Last name is Apolaro, Apolaro.
Give me that again.
Apolaro.
A-P-A,
Nope, sorry, Apolaro.
sorry, hold on. A-P-O-L,
Aro.
that's last name?
Yes, sir. Michael?
I'd like to look at this, if you don't mind. Civil case was filed November 26th. I see. Summons issued. He hasn't been served yet.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, just looking at the public record, but you did file suit. Trust but verify.
Exactly, yes.
You get what I mean? All right, and then that's, all right. Let me just look at something here. One look. So have you hired another contractor?
Yes, sir.
When's he going to get to work on this?
The permits were just, Landy, when would those be in? Next week, roughly?
I'm sorry?
The permits will be submitted based on that conversation sometime next week?
Yes, that's what the contractor's secretary, I just got off the phone with her, said by next week they should be submitting for the
They should be
permits.
submitted next week.
Yes.
Okay. And once the permits are approved, then they would be in compliance?
Well, there is some work that needs to be done, such as the sealing, the peeling and chipping paint. That does not require a permit. He can start doing that as soon as possible. And the place cover plates on the outlets and light switches, that can be done without a permit as well.
That could be done, we can get going on that, okay. Don't really like to continue, but given this situation, does staff have any objection to a continuance?
No, the
I don't.
county does not.
Okay, because of the good faith effort you're making in the situation you're in.
Okay.
Okay. 60 days?
I'd like to get it done sooner.
Well, we'll
So,
give you 60 days.
thank you,
maybe
sir.
Save you to come in.
Okay.
So, okay. In reference to case number 2504-114-896, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. I will continue this case to the code hearing on February 4th, 2026. Thank you.
Okay. And Merlandy's still a dream to work with.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. We have some companion cases. Case number 2509-115-775, location of violation 7240 South US Highway 1 in Port St. Lucie. The property owner is BBT Holdings, Florida, LLC. In this case, Section C on the agenda has been removed. And then I'll read in the companion case, which is case number 2509-115-776, location of violation 7240 South US Highway 1 in Port St. Lucie. The property owner, Wade Watson. With regard to this case, the violations, Section A, Section C, and Section D. Section A was abated, and C and D were removed. Thank you. All right, Mr. Alves.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
For the record, I am submitting 4 photos dated 6/12/2025, 3 dated 10/13/2025, and 3 dated 12/1/2025. 7240 South US Highway 1 was found in violation of Section 11.05.00, procedure for obtaining development permits. Please obtain a zoning compliance permit. Section 11.05.01 building and sign permits. Please obtain a permit for the fence. A notice of violation was issued on 8/24/2025. After receiving no compliance, a notice to appear letter was issued on 10/14/2025 for the code enforcement hearing of 12/3/2025. As of 12/1/2025, the property remains in violation. I have not had contact with the property owner, but have had contact with the business owners, which are the Watsons, which are here.
Please be sworn in.
Please state your names and your address.
Wade Watson, 7240 South US Highway 1.
Madison Watson, 7240 South US Highway 1.
Please raise your right hands. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
So you're the property owners, Watson?
We're leaseholders.
You're leaseholders.
Business
Just-
owner.
Just looking at this. So
We're
you're.
going to represent BBT as well.
Okay, so you represent
Yeah.
both. I'm just, because your name's here, okay, wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so Pie Hole Wood Fired Pizza, that's the business there. We're the leaseholders. We opened up in December of last year, coming up on a year, December 16th, serving the best pizza in South Florida. It's at the old Pizza Hut location on US Highway 1.
I am familiar.
Older building. So we signed the lease in June of last year. We started the business in December, and we obtained all the licenses, zoning permits and all of that, and opened with a liquor license, which requires some additional seating. You have to have 120 seats for the liquor license. When we got there were some benches sitting out in the grass. We took those out. And the liquor license required us to have some kind of a barrier so people don't walk off with drinks. We went ahead and constructed this fence on the side. We did that, pretty much on our own. We had some help from some friends, but we didn't get the right permits, and that's what brought us to this discussion. When the violation notice came out, it was brought into zoning also, which we thought we already had covered. We submitted drawings when we got the zoning approval. So we said, okay, if it's going to be that complicated, just take the fence back down. We removed the fence. And then we spoke to Thondra this morning and via email. But when we took the business over, we did what was called a name change only. The county didn't have any drawings of the business itself. I guess they were lost in a flood or a fire or something over the years. Again, it was opened in 1975. So
Yeah, it was originally a Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut, and then Papa
I
Louie's,
remember it.
and then there was something in the middle that nobody remembers, but Papa Louie's twice.
Papa Louie's twice.
Yeah. Our pizza's way better. Not to put that out there, but the name change only, I guess, doesn't work, is what Thondra explained to us. That we have to go back through the zoning compliance. But as far as the fence goes, we took it down. We left the posts up just to have some string lights over that area. And our plan is to put some planters out there and just have some additional seating outside that was on the original drawing.
Yeah, I'm just looking, so you say you took the fence down.
Yeah.
But here, please obtain a permit for the fence is still listed here on the agenda.
Most of the fence is down. There's still posts in four corners. And then if you look on that back area, that covers the trash area, that is also still there.
Oh, I see.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
You gotta
We
pull
left
that
that
down.
one little section in front of there's a mini split condensing units or whatever.
So you gotta get that down. Okay. Thondra?
So we initially got the business through the zoning compliance process very quickly using a name change only. That is a program that was instituted about 7 years ago, that when only the name of the business or the name of the owner is changing, we can pretty quickly process the zoning compliance without doing a full review. What we were not aware of when we did that was that the seating area had been added outside. There's a patio there now, as you can see in the photos. So we need to get them through traditional zoning compliance. We should be able to do it pretty quickly. They have the application information now, and we'll get that done.
Okay, so how long are we looking at?
Typical review time is between 5 and 10 business days, depending how quickly their reviewers, how much they have on their workloads. So
Yeah,
we'll
this
get it
doesn't
through.
look that difficult.
Nope, it should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a paver patio, I don't anticipate any issues with Public Works. The fence is down. I don't anticipate MJ and his team having any issues.
And Jay
So-
is shaking his head.
No.
No issues, yeah.
So we should be able to get
Yeah,
it through pretty
I'm
quickly.
familiar with this site. Good pizza.
Thank you.
And sir, there is a permit that they did apply for the fence, and it is still in review. It has not expired at this time.
Okay, but they're taking it down anyway, because yeah, all right. But because they were originally said, please obtain a permit for the demolition of the fence.
Well, yes, I had added that because technically they were supposed to have a permit to take the fence down, but after speaking with council, they decided that we didn't need to do that. So.
Okay, sounds good.
Just pretend it never happened.
Okay. What we'll do is, this should be resolved within a month, I would think, but we can continue it for 60 days, and if it goes away, then you don't have to come back. Okay,
Right.
I think, staff, any objection to a continuance?
No, no objection.
Okay. In reference to case number 2509-115-775, I continue this case to the February 4th hearing for code enforcement, February 4th, of course, 2026. And the companion case, case number 2509-115-776. We'll also continue this case to the February 4th, 2026 code enforcement hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a question, I know this is off the record. Do you own the one on the beach?
Yes.
You own the one on the beach, too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And a food truck for catering. The beach is better.
I've been to the beach, too. I've been to both, actually, to be honest with you. Very good.
All right, thank you very much.
Are you open, no, I was gonna ask. I'm teasing, all right. Off the record. All right. Case number 2509-115-879, location of violation 1996 Janelle Street in Fort Pierce. Property owner Juan C. Guerrero. This has been abated. Case number 2505-115-041, location of violation 239 Del Mundo Street, Fort Pierce. Property owner David White. Just for edification, on the agenda, Section A has been abated, Section B has been abated, and Section D has been abated. So the only thing we're looking at here is Section 110501, building and sign permits. Please obtain a permit for the sheds. All right, swear in this gentleman.
Please state your name and address.
I'm David White, 239 West El Mundo, Fort Pierce.
Raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. White. We'll hear from the investigating officer, Mr. Morero.
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated June 9, 2025, one photo dated July the 31st, 2025, one photo dated October the 14th, 2025, two photos dated December the 1st, 2025, two pictures from the St. Lucie County Geographical Information System showing the before and after. During my inspection, I found the property located at 239 Del Mundo Street to be in violation of Section 11.05.01 Building and Sign Permits. Please obtain a permit for the sheds. I issued notice of violation letter on May the 15th, 2025, and get a compliance date of May 29, 2025. After getting a compliance certified notice to appear for the December 3rd, 2025 Code Board meeting was issued on September the 11th, 2025. After the notice to appear was returned on delivery, second notice to appear was created and posted October the 14th, 2025. I have remained in contact with the owner. Permits number BLDR-2512-010313 and BLDR-2512-010314 were submitted on December the 2nd, 2025. As of December the 1st, 2025, the property remains in violation. The permits are just submitted online last night, but they're not currently in review.
That's correct, Mr. White?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what do you want us to do here? Technically, you're in violation.
Can I get a continuance? My property it's supposed to be, their normal properties in the county are 75 foot wide. My property is 50 foot wide. I'm trying to get a administrative variance to cut back into the setbacks, 35%. I'm just waiting on, now I'm waiting on the county side to approve that variance so I can get my permits to get to get it closed.
So that's been applied for, the variance?
The administrative variance.
Administrative. Is there a record of that?
That would be through Mr. Thod Crown, is who I spoke to yesterday at the office.
That usually goes through Kayla. Todd, I think, is something else. But I don't
That's
think
who I
that,
spoke to yesterday at the permit office.
usually the variance gets submitted through Kayla and then goes through the board commissioners to get approved, so I doubt it's been
Not for
submitted.
administrative.
No, Kayla works in a different department. It goes through the planning department.
Oh, it does?
It just has not been applied for online. He may have spoke to him, but he has to apply for it online.
What part has to be applied for?
The administrative variance.
The
There's an
gentleman
application.
yesterday told me to apply for the permits, and he would apply for the permits, and that would take care of it. The Thawed Crown, this gentleman here is who I spoke to yesterday. Taller, older gentleman?
Yeah.
He is one of the planners, and when it goes through review, one of the comments will most likely be from the zoning department that he needs the variance and to contact planning.
That's how it works.
That can be done. I can go right there right now and I can.
Yeah, the
rectify-
permits
I can
have been
rectify
applied
that. I
for.
just didn't, I thought it was all together in with the permits.
Yeah, that can be confusing.
It is. He needs to go back in and apply for the administrative variance one.
But he'll have to go ahead and do that one way or the other? Is that what you're saying?
Either way, yeah.
Correct.
In order
I'm just going on.
to keep the shed, because of the property being so skinny, for the setbacks, the shed would be dead center of my
How
property.
often do we issue administrative variances? Is it
It's
a
rare.
pretty common? Does anybody?
Not
know?
really.
I don't know that I'd call it common, but if there's unique circumstances, it's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible.
I don't know if property size.
As far as I'm understanding, as soon as I pay the monies for the variance, it should be approved within their, I think, 30 days, I think is what he said.
30.
And I have that. He printed me out a paper yesterday on it, which was for the administrative variance, required minimum yard setback standards.
Okay. Well, it looks like you're taking a lot of steps to get this done and get into compliance, and you've already abated most of this case.
Yes.
From what I can see. So I don't have a problem issuing a continuance for 60 days. Staff?
No
No
objection.
objection.
No objection?
Am I able to get longer than 60 days for the variance, so that way for the permits, it's probably gonna take about 3
Oh,
months.
that's right. You need the variance before then they'll,
And then
the permit. Any objection to 90 days?
No.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
All right. In
Make sure-
reference to case number 2505-115041, I will continue this case to the March 4th, 2026 code enforcement hearing. Thank you.
You said March 4th?
March 4th, it's a Wednesday, 9 a.m.
I'll see you then. Hopefully I don't have to be here.
Hopefully you won't. Okay.
Go down to the lobby and move the plan to us and let them know you need to see if you can see this. Go downstairs and do that in the lobby downstairs.
Case number 2505-114983, location of violation 2914 Navajo Avenue in Fort Pierce. Property owner Adrian Rivas and Amanda Runyon. This case has been abated. Case number 2508-115642. Location of violation, 7302 Pacific Avenue in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Robert T. Davidson III. Anybody here, Mr. Davidson? All right, we'll move on. Case number 2509-115702. Location of violation, 6906 Ocala Avenue in Fort Pierce. Property owner, U.S. SFE Asset Company 2, LLC. This case has been removed for compliance efforts. Case number 2506-115154. Location of violation, the lot south of 3200 St. Lucie Boulevard in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Range Line LLC. This case has been removed for compliance efforts. Case number 2508-115539. Location of violation, 7903 Deer Park Avenue in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Maria Trejo, Zakimo Trejo, and Tomasa Trejo. And this case has been abated. Case number 2509-115837. Location of violation, 2309 North 44th Street in Fort Pierce. Property owner, Morris Dodd Sr., case abated. We have companion cases, two cases now. Case number 2507-115405. Location of violation, 6435 North US Highway 1, Lot 55 in Fort Pierce. The property owner is Regal Cypress, LLC. And I'll read into the record the companion case, which is case number 2507-115459, location of violation, 6449 North US Highway 1, Unit 47 in Fort Pierce, and the property owner is Regal Cypress, LLC. Mr. Moreira, your cases.
Yes, sir.
Hold on, let me swear her in first. Can you please state your name and address for the record?
Fallon Primo, 6569 North US Highway 1.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
For the record, I am submitting one photo dated July 16, 2025, one photo dated August 27, 2025, one photo dated November 20, 2025, one photo dated December the 1st, 2025, and one aerial picture from the St. Lucie County Geographical Information System website. During my first inspection, found the property located at 6449 North US Highway 1, Lot 55, in violation for Section 11.5.01, building and sign permit. Please obtain a permit for the mobile home. I issued notice of violation later on July 25th, 2025, with a compliance date of August 8th. Yes, August 8, 2025. After getting no compliance certified notice to appear for the December 3rd, 2025 court board meeting was issued August 27, 2025, and delivered September the 2nd, 2025. I have remained in contact with the owner as of December the 1st, 2025, that there's no permit on file and the property remains in violation.
So no, there's 2 permits that are required, right? We got one for each case?
What? So the mobile home was installed without a permit, so that's why they need to either get a permit to have it there or remove it from the property.
I think he's saying the 2 permits because of 2 addresses.
Oh, I'm sorry, you gotta read the second one. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
For the record, I am submitting, this is for case 115459, lot number 47. For the record, I am submitting 2 photos dated July the 16th, 2025, one photo dated August the 27th, 2025, one photo dated November the 20th, 2025, one photo dated December the 1st, 2025, one aerial picture from the St. Lucie County Geographical Information System website. During my first inspection, found the property located at 6449 North US Highway 1, Lot 47, in violation for Section 11.05.01, building and sign permits. Please obtain a permit for the mobile home. I issued notice of violation later on July the 25th, 2025, with a compliance date of August 8, 2025. After getting a compliance certified notice to appear for the December 3rd, 2025 court board meeting was issued on August 27, 2025, delivered September the 2nd, 2025. I remain in contact with the owner, and there's no permits on file for both of the mobile homes at this time. As of December the 1st, 2025, the property remains in violation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, I mean, the notice of violations in both cases were issued back in July. Why don't we have permits?
Because those homes have been, I've worked for that community for almost 9 years. They've been there for that long. So when I went to go get a permit, they're asking questions that I have no answers to. So we are going to pull them out. We were scheduled to pull out tomorrow, both of them. Unfortunately, the contractor is stuck out of state due to a grandmother having issues during his Thanksgiving break. So we will be having them removed on Tuesday of next week. Plus, I also had another violation that we had to do the demo for prior to this one.
So you're hopefully going to have it all done within the month.
It's scheduled to be out by Tuesday of next week.
Okay. January 9th. I'm going to find you in violation, but obviously if it's abated, then it all goes away.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Case number 2507-115-405. Location of violation 6435 North US Highway 1, Lot 55. In reference to this case, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation. I determine the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by January 9th, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. A cost of $200 has been imposed as a cost for prosecuting this case. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. Case number 2507-115-459. In reference to this case, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. After hearing the facts in this case, the testimony, and the recommendation of staff with regard to the existence of a violation, I determine the violation in fact did occur and the alleged violator committed the violation. An order of enforcement is warranted. If the order of enforcement is not complied with by January 9th, 2026, a fine of up to $250 per day may be imposed. I'm going to waive the prosecution cost on this case because they really are companion cases and the investigation involved both of them. So we'll just have one prosecution cost. Please take notice that on the first Wednesday of the month after the date given for compliance at 9 a.m. or soon thereafter, as may be heard, a fine hearing will be held if the violation is not abated by the given compliance date. Thank you. So you have till January 9th, but hopefully that'll be
It'll be moved next week.
moved by then.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 2510-115-981. Location of violation, 3847 North US Highway 1, Fort Pierce. The property owner is US 1 Golf LLC. Anybody here representing the golf company? Seeing no one, we'll move on. Case number 2509-115-875. Location of violation, 6015 Birch Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner, J&N Home Investment Incorporated. Seeing no one, we'll move on. Case number 2509-115-714. Location of violation, 4400 Metzger Road, Fort Pierce. Property owner, FP Legend Storage, LLC. This case has been abated. Case number 2510-116032. Location of violation, 2446 Harbor Cove Drive in Fort Pierce. The property owner, Warren and Terry Evans.
Can you please state your name and address?
I, Warren Evans, of 2446 Harbor Cove Drive, North Hutchinson Island.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Section A on the agenda has been abated. So
Removed.
we're dealing with section...
It was removed.
Was removed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But section B is still there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Moyes? All right, please explain.
For the record, I am submitting 3 photos dated October 14, 2025. One photo dated November 13, 2025, one photo dated November 18, 2025, and two photos dated December 2, 2025. During my first inspection, I found the property located at 2446 Harbor Cove Drive in violation for Section 13.08.01, Standard Housing Code, Section 304, exterior structure. The deck and railings must be in good repair and structurally sound. Please repair the deck and railings to the deck. Please obtain a permit for the repairs. A notice of violation was issued on October 14, 2025, with a correction date of October 28, 2025. After getting no compliance, a notice to appear was issued on October 31, 2025. The notice was returned. Therefore, a notice to appear was issued and posted on the property on November 18, 2025 for the December 3, 2025 St. Lucie County Code Special Magistrate meeting. I have had contact with the owner. As of December 2, 2025, the property remains in violation.
Mr. Evans?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I hired a business that was an unlicensed contractor. Going back and forth, he was responsible for the work as well as the engineering to do so. He just kept stalling and stalling and stalling. Monday, I sent him a formal notice that I was terminating the contract. And at this point, it's kind of a twofold thing. I'm also going to be applying for a permit to extend my rear deck, which requires engineering. Upon that engineering, it will give me the necessary engineering for the railing, which should complete the front balcony at that time.
What kind of time frame are we looking at?
30 days, 60 days, if you don't mind.
Yeah, this case isn't that old, is it? It's less than 2 months, is it?
October 14, 2025.
Yeah, so
when the notice was issued.
Yeah, so it's not that old. Okay. Anybody object to a continuance in this case?
The county doesn't object.
Looks like he's taking all the necessary steps, and so if you get all that done, you don't have to come back. So we'll just.
I have no objections. I just have one question. Is
Sure.
that sliding glass door locked from the outside?
It will be. I had that conversation. I will put I will put a 2x4 on it so that it cannot be opened.
Okay.
And if it pleases you, I'll put a temporary rail up as well.
As long as it's either or, as long as it's protected so that nobody from inside the home can walk out onto that.
Absolutely.
Protected.
In reference to case number 2510-116032, I will continue this case to the February 4th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you. Thank you.
Case number 2507-115430. Location of violation 2201 North 43rd Street, Fort Pierce. Property owner John A. Williams, Jr. Mr. Williams, not here. Case number 2509-115899. Location of violation, frontage of 5125 Southwind Trail, Fort Pierce. Property owner is Highway 1 Estates LLC, Eubarist, Oberberg Incorporated, and Michael Jones, all out of Port Charlotte. This case, though, has been abated. believe that concludes our violation cases. I will read in those that did not show, and if we could sound the halls, just to make sure nobody's here, and then we can take care of this. Case number 2508-115-642. Location of violation 7302 Pacific Avenue in Fort Pierce. Property owner Robert T. Davidson III. Case number 2510-115-981. Location of violation 3847 North US Highway 1 in Fort Pierce. Property owner US 1 Golf LLC. Case number 2509-115-875. Location of violation 6015 Birch Drive, Fort Pierce. Property owner J&N Home Investment Incorporated.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
And we have case number 2507-115-430. Location of violation 2201 North 43rd Street in Fort Pierce. Property owner John A. Williams, Jr. Have the halls been sounded?
Yes, the halls have been sounded.
Thank you. In reference to the cases that I just read into the record, I, as special magistrate, enter an order finding that these violators are in default, as they did not appear to protest the violations against them, and I adopt the recommendations of staff as set forth on the agenda. We have no cases for rehearing or reconsideration. We have no repeat violation hearings. No cases to be referred to the Board of County Commissioners. Our next section will deal with fine reductions, and we have several cases. I'm just going to take another short recess before we go into that. It's right now 11:15, so just about 11, let's do 11:20, just 5 minutes.
Thank you.
sure everybody's here.
And they can't say because they're private provider.
Here she comes.
Make it a little longer. 10 minutes.
You've been very patient. Who? People okay for finding out.
Got where they're at. Yeah.
Everybody ready?
We're ready.
Well, we'll reconvene for fine reduction hearings. I believe we have 5 of them. I've reviewed everything. Let's take them case by case. Case number 105159, location of violation 7320 South US Highway 1 in Port St. Lucie. And the violator is Giles 7320 LLC. The fine reduction is requested by Eddie Mazarigian, Southeast Pools and Spas.
Pretty close with the name.
I'm sorry. Yeah, what's the proper pronunciation?
Mazarjan.
Mazarjan.
It's a good Armenian name.
Okay, Mazarjan. All right, Mr. Mazarjan, get sworn in.
Please state your name for the record and your address.
Edward D. Mazarjan, 1501 Regal Cove Boulevard, Kissimmee, Florida.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Mr. Mazarjan, tell us why you want a fine reduced.
The violations that led me to this property to solve them, we did, and we spent in excess of $600,000 to work the property into compliance. Unfortunately, within about 60 days after we brought the property into compliance, the building burned to the ground. And we are currently now at a state where, with the cooperation of the building department and several departments within the county, we have demoed the damaged structure. We are under design for a new building that will be able to be walked through plan review so that we are avoiding any conflicts of compliance in the future, and took a total loss into the millions. And I was trying to get my 5 minutes of fame to appeal to have the previous fines abated, that we had brought the whole project together to try to bring it into compliance.
I believe staff is recommending that we reduce the fine by 100%, but no reduction of the prosecution cost. Is that correct, staff? That's the
That
recommendation?
is correct. And the next, the following 2 cases are all companion cases as
Okay,
well.
We'll just read them both in then after, but, all right, so we're going to reduce it, but you'll have a prosecution cost of $200.
Well, I'm grateful for that. And if I can have just another moment to say something.
Sure.
I'm greatly appreciative of the building department's cooperation and all of the departments that helped get us back on track. We suffered this catastrophic loss on June the 3rd, 2025. And within 1 week, we sat in a conference room discussing a path forward so we could do everything safely, by the book, and properly. And we've done that. So, but I am very grateful in a time when constantly people are complaining about what the county and public government doesn't do. The cooperation was excellent. So I appreciate everyone's cooperation.
In reference to case 105159, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. The fine of $10,000 imposed by the Code Enforcement Board is hereby reduced to the amount of 0. There is no, I don't believe, and I'm looking at there was never a prosecution cost even imposed in that case. Was there?
The code board may have waived it.
Because I'm looking here, total fine imposed, 10,000, no prosecution cost. So if there's no prosecution cost, you don't pay that either, so. But as far as this case is concerned, it's down to 0.
Thank you.
All right, we have 2 more to look at, and we'll go through this, but I'm just looking, yeah, the fine, let me just check something.
Special Magistrate, it appears that no prosecution costs were
Assessed on any of them?
assessed on any 3 cases.
Okay, good.
So that's a scribbage error.
So
to
that's,
include that.
okay, so that's good to know.
Thank you.
So that's, so there's no prosecution cost on that case. Let's go to the next case. Case number 105145, location of violation 7320 South US Highway 1, Port St. Lucie, Florida. The violator was Marino's Restaurant Equipment, and the fine reduction is requested by Mr. Marajan. Correct? You're just going to reiterate what you said, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Staff, anything else to say?
No, they've done a great job of communication.
Great. In reference to case 105145, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. The fine of, I believe it was, let me just get, the fine of $10,000 imposed by the Code Enforcement Board is hereby reduced to the amount of 0. And there was no prosecution cost. Case number 103995, location of violation 7320 South US Highway 1, Port St. Lucie. Violator is Giles 7320 LLC, and the fine reduction still requested by the same gentleman and Southeast Pools and Spas. Nothing else to add?
No, sir.
Okay. In reference to case number 103995, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. The fine of $10,000 is hereby reduced to the amount of 0, and there is no prosecution cost.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You're welcome, and good luck.
Thank you. We're looking forward to building a nice, bright, shiny new building.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Thank you.
Case number 95520, location of violation 5717, Birch Drive in Fort Pierce. The violator is the estate of Angelina M. O'Connell, and the fine reduction is requested by David Bacalar, PA. You're an attorney, I assume?
Yes, hi. Good morning. Well, afternoon.
Good, you don't have to be sworn in.
Hi, how are you, sir?
Good. Just state your name.
I'm David Bacalar, appearing. I'm actually for the prior owner, the lender who foreclosed and took title to the property, and that's my capacity here today.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, tell me what you're looking for here, my friend.
Okay. Well, we're looking for a waiver of all the penalties and fines, with the exception of any prosecution costs. My client was not the violator. The violator apparently was the estate of the prior owner of Miss O'Connell. It's an old pool cleaning lien from many years ago. My client took title to the property at the end of August of this year. Once they received it under contract, I checked the title to the property. I saw there was a code lien on it for the pool cleaning. It looked like actually it had been foreclosed by the lender, but the lender did not do a proper job. The lender's attorneys, it wasn't me, did not do a good job. I had dealt with your counsel, who was very nice and responsive, and I agreed that they did not properly foreclose out the lien. And instead of trying to foreclose that another time, I told the client they should just get the pool fixed and put it into compliance. I dealt with your incredible staff, Paul and Guy, and I think within 7 days, the violation was cured, give or take a couple days. And I haven't sought to re-foreclose and rattle any sabers. The property's in compliance, and we were not the violators. We acted in very good faith, and just like to have now the fine removed.
So if the foreclosure was properly pursued, the entire lien would have been
Extinguished by
foreclosed.
operation of law.
It would have been foreclosed.
Well, the lien would have been extinguished as to that property by operation of law.
Yeah.
But it could still be out there attaching to other properties that the former owner may have known. So when that happens, the county doesn't take any action to release a lien. It just stays out there, and then, you know, the subsequent owner will have presumably a title insurance policy that will ensure that, you know, they'll review the documents and make a determination that that lien has been extinguished.
Okay. Staff is recommending a reduction of 90%,
Correct. $500
$500,
with no prosecution fee.
and no reduction there is a prosecution cost that was
Reduction of
imposed.
the prosecution fee.
So there would be a $500 fine and no reduction of prosecution cost?
Prosecution costs waived.
We'll waive that.
Yes.
So it'd just be $500, period. Counselor, can you live with that?
I could live with that, thank you,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
In reference to case number 95520, I, as special magistrate, make the following determination. The fine of $5,000 imposed by the Code Enforcement Board is hereby reduced to the amount of $500. This reduced fine must be paid within 30 days of this hearing, or the fine will revert back to the original fine of $5,000. The prosecution cost has also been extinguished and waived.
Thank you.
That's great, thank you. May I just ask one question? I don't know if I should do it now or afterwards. I have the funds in my trust account to send. Do I just make it to the city and to the county and send a change?
I'll be preparing an invoice and emailing it to you, and you can pay it online.
Okay, I may just send a check. I can't do it. Is that okay?
That would be fine.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. Take care. Ruth, do you have a pen? My pen just died.
I know, today's the day of the pen.
Throw that one. Okay. Okay, one more. Case number 2210109-055. The violator, Henry L. Kurz, And the fine reduction is being requested by Sean Shackelford. Hello, please be sworn in.
Please state your name and address.
Sean Shackelford, 949 Southeast Brookhedge Avenue, Port St. Lucie.
Please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Shackelford, why should we reduce your fine?
I purchased this property on a tax lien auction, and in the process of getting through the clear title, I found out it had a code violation on it in, I guess, October of this year. And so I took care of it.
So the violation has been abated. And that was removal of exotic vegetation. So you took care of that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Staff is recommending a reduction of 100%. And there is a prosecution of 200. Do you
That's
want
correct.
Do you want to waive that too, or no?
That would be up to you. The
Yeah,
county
I think-
doesn't object.
Yeah, I think you got a good deal on the thing. We'll give you a reduction, we'll give you a prosecution cost of $200. It's on
I
the
looked
property.
at I have a copy of that, of the lien from the county, and it says no. It's no prosecution cost.
The board ordered a $200 prosecution fee, I believe.
Right here. I'm looking at the fact.
It says right here.
Can't read that.
The last paragraph.
Well, this is in the imposition of fines. It would be addressed in the fact of finding.
Yeah, what happened,
the $200
how that
fee.
was done, there was no additional prosecution cost put on originally of, when the fine was imposed. Because they had originally gave a $200 prosecution cost when they found the property in violation.
Okay.
That's how it works.
Okay.
So
Yes,
you're
sir.
kind of on the hook for $200. You pay that up and
Better than 10,000.
you're darn right, huh? Okay.
And I did verify the prosecution fee was inputted, and it was on the original fact of finding.
It was?
Yeah.
In reference to case 109055, I make the following determination. The fine of $10,000 imposed by the Code Enforcement Board is hereby reduced to the amount of $0. This reduced fine must be paid within, the refund. The prosecution cost of $200 remains and must be paid within 30 days of this hearing. Okay. Thank you, that's it. So get with Miss Guy and give her $200.
Email you that, so you can make that payment. Thank you. Hard work. It's crazy. Next is.
Okay, that concludes fine reductions. Other business or staff business? What do we have?
We do have, I have the numbers completed from the lien amnesty program that took place this year. The program generally runs from April through July. We did do an extension. We were able to accommodate an extension to the citizens to the end of September 30th. This allowed us to obtain 29 participants through the whole eligibility time of the program. The funds collected were $19,495. We have reduced the outstanding collectible debt since the program was launched in 2017 to $2,308,909.37. So for the year 2025, the outstanding liens reduced by 10% or in the amount of $200,000. It's been a great program, and a lot of people are very thankful to have it. I hope it continues next year.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Anybody else have anything? Okay, well then, if that's the case, we're going to adjourn, and I believe the time is, what, 11:41? Adjourned.
Thank you.